我们队伍状态最近一般般吧，因为有西瓜加入，现在还属于在磨合期。
새로 생긴 팀인데 컨디션은 새로 생긴 팀 치고는 굉장히 좋은 것 같아요. 그런데 대회 때 좀 스크립트 연습만큼 안 나와가지고 좀 아쉬운 면이 있어요.
我的天呐，这个围殴的伤害 ，Crystal 被击倒在了主堡面前，林伟翔在这里打出了 Pentakill， 并且收下了比赛。
LWX 선수랑 하는데 제가 그냥 이길 것 같아요.
让我们来好好切磋一下吧。
他们打野选手非常激进，之后碰到他们的话，从野区针对他们。
如果你们进我们野区的话，我希望你们打野不要被单杀吧。
现在中单都是输出型的，现在对我来说话玩得更自在了。
xiye最近的表现还有状态都挺好的，但是我会帮助我们中单拿到优势吧。
这周我们已经做好了充足的准备，希望可以赢下更多的比赛。
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Week 2, Day 5 of the LPL Spring Split 2018. I'm back, I'll be your host, Richard Polskamp, for the remainder of today, and alongside me, I have Indiana FLICKR in black. But before we get to all of that, we have our luck lives, of course, at the start of the show. FPX are going to be taking on Team WE at the start of today. You've got Gimgoon looking as serene as ever, looking at those team jackets as well, and getting a pre-show snack as well on top of that, because they'll definitely need it going up against WE, who have just played as well. They'll be facing that team later on. And as I said, hello, Richard Polskamp here. I've got FLICKR, and how are you doing?
Hey, how you going?
Hey, no, pretty good, pretty good. No one's ever asked me how I'm doing, so I'm actually thank you. I'm very good. I wasn't expecting that question, but either way, we have a lot to cover because yesterday we expected, I guess, less of an upset because Bilibili Gaming were looking incredibly good.
Is that what we're going to call it, an upset?
I think so. We were going into that day saying that Bilibili Gaming were actually the favorites going into EDG. So let's go ahead and take a look at those standings as we came out of yesterday. Bilibili Gaming dropped against EDG. It looked like they just had the number.
Yeah, it was the Cinderella story gone awry. Bilibili Gaming were the only undefeated team in the LPL, and EDG said, if we're not undefeated, nobody is. Little Brother ran face first into Big Brother, and Bilibili Gaming could not 5v5 team fight their way out of Ray's massive Cho'Gath.
Yeah, and at the same time, Team WE took on Vici. Now, it was our first time on our stream watching Vici since, I don't know, last year. It was a long time in the making, but Vici looked like the exact same team. It looked like they just jumped out of the cryo chamber. It was like, hang on. I feel like I've seen this before. In fact, I have when I first joined the LPL myself last year.
Yeah, but that hurts Vici fans. That was an arrow to the heart because, yes, you are correct. It looks exactly like it did in 2016, but the roster is almost completely different. And you don't want it to look like 2016 because that's when they got relegated. Now they're sitting at the bottom of the standings. The only consistent person from that previous roster is EasyHoon, and nothing's changed. They still can't team fight in the LPL, and that's why they're going to stay at the bottom of the standings until they can fix that.
It was a major problem because going against WE, it seemed like it was the same style except better. But if you haven't had your fill of WE, or maybe you didn't catch the game because over in a flash, we have more WE coming up at the very start of today. So let's go ahead and take a look at today's schedule because Team WE will be taking on FPX as we just saw them a moment ago.
Yeah, I swear Team WE haven't even left. They probably just slept at the venue, they had their closer,
yeah,
they've
probably
got their opener right now, and they're taking on a very different animal in FPX, very fast-paced. But we've also got JD versus RNG, and not featured on the stream will be RW versus LG. You can catch those ones at Douyu and Huya by our Mandarin co-casters.
Yeah, and now it is very interesting talking about Team RNG because they have had a new member join them overnight. In fact, they have just joined Zatai, or rather signed Zatai, coming in from Snake. So you may remember him as a mid laner from Snake last split, but now he's a top laner.
Yeah, and he also does have experience playing in the top lane. Did that for Invictus Gaming when he was previously their mid laner, turned top laner, turned mid laner, now back turned top laner. The exciting thing is, it's Zatai. This guy's a legacy player. He's very hungry. We saw that when he fought back for his starting position, when he left Invictus Gaming, you know, his homegrown organization, and there is a chance that he won't just elevate his own performance to try to get that starting spot, but he elevates Letme's performance as they continue to compete for the starter.
I mean, right. I mean, this is the type of guy who's not going to sit on the bench all day. He wants to try and get that initial starting spot. So we'll see see how that turns out. Of course, they are playing later today. Let's go ahead and talk about our first match of today, which is FPX versus Team WE. Now, Team WE, very easy to talk about their form because we saw it yesterday against Vici, but FPX, very much the stylistic difference here.
Yeah, so whereas Vici, again, are more of that patient, we used to call them death by 1,000 cuts because it was more about a macro type of game where they would take slow, minor objectives that would then bleed you out. FPX, they hit hard, they hit fast, and they hit really big. This is the Gimgoon squad. They're going to be big brawlers. LWX, we saw him in the SOT feature at the beginning of the day. He wants to play aggressive. He feels confident. And then Pepper just cherry on top. Come into my jungle. I dare you, Condi. I'll kill you 1v1.
Yeah, we will get that solo kill. It's just so fun to watch. It's just like all of those teams that we enjoyed watching at the bottom of the table coalesce and become actually a pretty good team. So game against WE, it might still be very difficult since WE, they're getting back to their full form, their final form as you were, because of Condi has joined back into the roster as of yesterday.
Yeah, and again, echoing 957's words just at the top of the day, top of show right there, he was saying, you know, we haven't been in great form right now. We're trying to ramp back in. Yes, Condi's rejoined, but also Team WE have needed a break. These guys have played Rift Rivals, MSI, Worlds, and 957 went to All-Stars. Like, when do they actually get time to sleep? So, took a little bit of time. Now it's warming up, and you can see that really in their play. They're still doing the exact same thing that they did at Worlds and before. It's playing a fast push composition, the Caitlyn comp that came out. We saw that at Worlds, and playing the Galio mid. We've seen that all the way back at Rift Rivals. So, unfortunately for Team WE, I'm a bit disappointed because I'm not seeing the new spark, but I'll give them time.
All right, but why is that a problem? They got a 2-0. They're getting back on form. It's WE. They'll probably be at the top of the table by like week 4.
But top of the table isn't what matters to Team WE, and it's not what matters to Team WE fans. I'm tired of saying Team WE are top team. Everyone knows that. Top 3, EDG, RNG, Team WE. We all know that that's going to be it. They want the ticket to MSI. They want to be the best team. And until they start diversifying their style, picking up different compositions, and stop being this one-trick team, which is what tripped them up at Worlds, they're never going to be the best team in the LPL.
So are you trying to say that FPX could win today? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying that FPX is your favorite team heading into today?
Given time, I think right now on the trajectory, FPX will have a greater ceiling than Team WE because it's been 2 splits now where WE have kind of plateaued, and hopefully the change-up in the coaching staff will really help them break through and reach that next level. But unfortunately, FPX are weak in the one area that Team WE are incredibly strong, which is still their 5v5. They showcased that yesterday against Vici, and FPX have a terrible tendency that in these really tight skirmishes, they will go overly aggressive, miss position, and you cannot do that against Team WE.
Okay, so what draft do you want to see from Team? What would appease Fruskirin? What do you want to see?
I just want to see different champions, but it's too early. I know we're not going to see it. We just saw Team WE last night. I expect to see very similar circumstances, but they need to hit harder early.
Yeah.
That does start with Condi and making sure that he has a good 2v2 matchup in the mid-jungle position. So if Team WE want to have an easy time against FPX, they have to match that early aggression. Team WE talked about how they will be focusing out Pepper's champion pool, but they tried to do that with the ADC position yesterday for Vici. It kind of worked in game number 1. It didn't work in game number 2. So WE are not only fumbling kind of one-dimensional drafts, but also how they're sculpting those drafts in pick and ban.
I mean, you called what they ran yesterday very much a Worlds composition, and to be honest, I find it very difficult to disagree with you in that point, but there is some innovation in there. We saw like the AP Galio build, the teleport in the bot lane, for example, but as we went through the rosters, Gimgoon in the top lane, Pepper in the jungle, being in the mid lane with LWX and Crisp manning the bot side.
And you guys need to get excited about this team. Pepper, formerly of RNG, was known as Yihan, is a very explosive jungler. In tandem with someone like Gimgoon and LWX, they are the typical Chinese aggression team. They are going to flash forward and they're going to style on you.
Yeah, it's like OMG light, but on the opposite side, Team WE, 957, Condi, xiye, Mystic, Ben, the gang's back all together.
One of the legendary powerhouses of the LPL and still sitting pretty on top. Now, Condi has recently rejoined the roster. They were running with a sub-jungler in Melon, so their early record has tripped up. They need to clean this up because we're 1 week away from cross-conference.
Yeah, and to be honest, you could hear in the feature at the start, xiye was saying that that very much hindered them heading into the first couple of weeks of play, and you know, no doubt on that one, because when you look at the jungle, he's so integral to how they play, right? Condi, a lot of the early game advantages would come out of that position, and now that he's back, probably going to need a little bit to get back in there.
Yeah, I'm going to certainly echo Clement. I really agree with his analysis in that Condi just works better with the lanes. It's not necessarily fast, aggressive jungling where you see solo kills, but it's how Condi is moving in, grabbing vision for his pushing priority lanes, and allowing them to unlock the map and rotate around.
And frankly, I'm just excited to see how he interacts with Pepper, because is if he's saying that I'm going to solo kill the jungler and then he's facing Condi today, it's just like, alright, yeah, well, we'll see if that actually happens, because yes, he is very aggressive and it works out most of the time as well. In fact, that's the way they also get the early game advantages. So we'll see if they can actually snowball that against a team like Team WE, because Team WE are so good at stalling. They'll just wait until 35 minutes. We call them the Elder Dragon team for a reason. But either way, that's it from us. We are going to send it over to the casters to take us away.
Thank you very much, Pulse and FLICKR, and I'm Fish. Joining me on the desk today is Rusty. We're about to get into the first best of 3 game today. It's going to be FunFlus Phoenix taking on Team WE. Team WE, now that Condi's come back, almost seem like they're going back to similar tactics that they used last year. Are we going to continue to see this? Is this going to be the game where we find that out? It's going to take more time.
I mean, the thing is, we do need time to really work out what it is we're going to see from WE as a final form in this split, in the whole year, of course. But they've just brought Condi back, and that's an important thing. And the reason that is important is they did go back to their World's meta, their World's champion picks, and yes, there were some new innovations and styles there. The runes will cause that to happen, but they still picked that. And what I think is actually the case here from Team WE is they're picking what's comfortable to them, what is a known quantity to them, and what is something that they, as a 5-man unit, have actually practiced and refined, and they don't need to practice that any further to know that it works, and they're able to use that yesterday to get a victory.
They certainly were over Vici, and that was a 2-0 victory for Team WE, a very decisive victory at that. On top of that, it's one of the few teams in the LPL that barely ever change their roster. These 5 from Team WE have been around for a long time, whereas FunFlus Phoenix are much more new team to the LPL, but they came onto the LPL with style, and we expected to put up quite a bit of a fight here against Team WE.
Yeah, we call Team WE a known quantity. Well, FunFlus Phoenix are very much an unknown quantity. There are some things that are familiar through the roster. The individual talent within that roster is what is known. But how they play as a team, what we can tell is mostly they pick meta, but they're also just very aggressive in contrast to most of the teams in the LPL. Yes, the LPL as a region will flash forwards, but these guys take the lower percentage, or the higher percentage risks, I should say, for the higher percentage rewards.
Oh, we know that Team WE are a long, slow-paced team. They like to draw the game out. They like to go late into the matches. The team they played against yesterday, Vici, used to do the exact same thing, and that's why we saw Team WE able to take them to that late game and beat them at what they knew best. Whereas FunFlus Phoenix, as you mentioned, Rusty, they are a fast-paced team. So can we expect more action going into this?
I certainly expect a more explosive laning phase to be seen from both of these teams. And the reason that I would say that is Team WE's team fighting looked immaculate. They looked completely unstoppable. But this is something that FunFlus Phoenix can be good at. They can stop and they can actually get a lead in, and that is by laning better.
Well, let's see if they're able to switch anything up in the draft phase in comparison to what Vici were able to throw at Team WE yesterday. FunFlus Phoenix against Team WE, game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Already, Kalista, Alistar, and Galio are the first 3 bans that come out from FunFlus Phoenix. Camille and Rise will hit the deck, as well as Azir from Team WE.
I respect the Galio ban away from xiye. The Kalista and Alistar just make a lot of sense getting rid of them. Kalista's the strongest AD carry now, and has started to crop up once again as the cream of the crop. And Alistar, super good enabling champion. It's banned, of course, he can play it.
And we saw xiye not only able to play the very AP-heavy Galio in game number 1 against Vici yesterday, but also a more tank-focused Galio in game number 2. So that respect ban coming out from FunFlus Phoenix allows them to pick up Jarvan as their first pick of choice for Pepper heading into the jungle, most likely.
Yeah, it should be in the jungle role. And of course, you mentioned the bans for Team WE. 2 mid laners taken from Bing. He has still got the Malzahar available, and that's something that I have to wonder now. Will WE look towards picking that away from him? Because ultimately, Bing has played 3 champions total in the LPL so far, and it's Azir, Rise, and Melz.
Let's see if he does pick that one up, or if Team WE take it away in their first rotation. Kha'Zix is going to be the pickup of choice for Team WE heading into the jungle for Condi.
Yeah, Kha'Zix is a very good choice. Of course, with the Jarvan locked in, they wanted to go towards an isolated damage dealer in the jungle. It makes it very difficult for Pepper to be aggressive, to invade, and to make some big plays, especially in a one-on-one sense. They may be looking more towards the 2v2 now, FunFlus Phoenix, and change up their direction with the draft. And I still think that Malzahar is a very good enabling champion for that. The fact that WE go for a Kog'Maw lock-in, they don't prioritize it, means that they've got a trick up their sleeves still ready.
Well, let's see what their final pick will be during the first draft rotation. Already we know Pepper has challenged Condi to come into his jungle, and Condi fresh back in the LPL, a veteran in the LPL, should not be afraid to do so. However, Caitlyn is the pick of choice for FunFlus Phoenix. LWX has played the champion not this year in the LPL, but has played it historically. Zoe, a champion that has been left up for quite some time during this draft phase, something that we commonly see banned, is going to be picked up by xiye heading into the mid lane.
Yeah, and most importantly, it's xiye that's able to lock down the Zoe. The last time we saw Zoe from him, he was MVP by a country mile. He played incredibly well, and it is something that commands respect, as honestly I am very hesitant to say that I like FPX's draft at all by going for the Caitlyn third. I can understand picking an AD carry before the next ban phase, but look at what they sacrifice as a result.
Malzahar is going to be the ban from Team WE, so now Bing will be forced to play a champion he has not yet played this year in the LPL. First ban from FunFlus Phoenix is going to be Maokai, targeted at 957 in the top lane. The final ban from Team WE is going to be LeBlanc, so even further hitting Bing's champion pool.
Trying to whittle it down as much as they possibly can. There aren't a whole lot of mid laners left, especially with pick rates at all in League of Legends currently.
There's a very small chance that Bing could be taking that Vladimir into the mid lane. However, Gimgoon has played the champion before, so could be his top lane pick. Taric is the final ban that comes out from FunFlus Phoenix.
Yeah, Taric removing one of the support options for Ben down in the bottom lane. One of the few tanky champions that can also enable and protect a Kog'Maw incredibly well. Ben may just go towards something like the Janna though, now that they have the Kog'Maw, and just play a mid-range defensive type of composition where eventually Mystic will carry the game. They just need to allow him to do so.
It seems like Team WE will leave their support pick for last, as Gnar is the lock-in of choice for 957 in the top lane. Staple champion for him.
Yeah, no, a very good choice for them. Honestly, I'm not surprised that that's the direction that Team WE will go. So my attention rather, still shifts towards FPX and what they want to lock in for themselves. Because you're right, Vladimir could flex. They could put it towards the mid lane. I feel like they may have to now, given the circumstances.
Well, let's see what they round out their team composition with. FunFlus Phoenix have to show their hand now. Team W will get the final pick. Braum is the lock-in of choice to go with Caitlyn in the bottom lane.
Just another lane bully style of champion. Braum's going to help a lot with Caitlyn when it comes to pushing lanes. We'll also have to see if LWX goes towards the unsealed spellbook Caitlyn and channels his inner Mystic. And final pick for FunFlus Phoenix could potentially be the mid laner for Bing, unless we do see the Vladimir flexed into the mid lane. Team WE have to respond with their support of choice after this. In the bottom lane for Ben, seems like they are going to go with the Taliyah as the mid lane pick of choice into Zoe. Has decent wave clear and shelf potential. You know, we saw a hover of a Kassadin as well, and I like that he shifted away from it. Kassadin started to crop up as one of the answers to Zoe in the middle lane, but sometimes you just get put to sleep and then you actually just lose the entire game because you need to hold on in that lane super hard. It means the jungler may have to direct attention there, and I'm not sure that's the route that they're going to be playing here, FPX. So they opt into the Taliyah for that wave clear, for that pressure, and the ability to roam around the rift.
Final pick for Team WE is going to be Tahm Kench in the bottom lane, a very staple pick in the LPL at the moment. It's been picked up in almost 90% of the games played. Actually, exactly 90% of the games that have been played, either picked or banned.
That is correct, and a very high win rate to boot, Fish, which is a super important note there. Tahm Kench does seem to be rising up as the #1 support option. There was a Taric and an Alistar banned in this game, however, so those two were deemed higher priority earlier on in this draft. But with the Tahm Kench locked in, a lot of plays can now be made cross-map if they choose, or if they get any pressure down in the bottom lane. You can bring a jungler down there as well if you want to get ganks off.
Hyper carry being picked up by Mystic as well, heading into the bottom lane against LWX's Caitlyn. That's an interesting one, seeing that normally Braum's picks up first if you want to go for the Kog'Maw to deny the possibility of the opposite team picking up for the Unbreakable. But FPX will have that Braum going into the hyper carry this game.
Yeah, they certainly will. I mean, for what it's worth, it's nice to have the front line in front of him that he does Mystic as well, with the Tahm Kench to protect and a Gnar if he is ahead to actually be able to provide the tankiness. But that's something that, when I say tankiness, I say it lightly, because Team WE's composition, most Gnars will build 2 damage items first before they go resistances. Most Tahm Kenches will build health before they can actually even afford to go resistance items, and even then it's a Tahm Kench and it's a support, so limited resources to be seen. And between a Kha'Zix and a Zoe, very fragile champions, and all of this with a Kog'Maw. I just wonder if that Kog'Maw could have been any other champion running around on Summoner's Rift, but ultimately they picked it so that LWX couldn't, and that's put them into this predicament.
Well, let's see how this one pans out. FunFlus Phoenix, a very early game-centric team. They like to brawl, they like to teamfight. Team WWE, quite the opposite. They love to delay the game for as long as they can. They do have a couple of hyper carries here and a very powerful mid laner, being also picking up a new mid laner for himself, Taliyah. Something we have not seen him play yet. And he's not into an easy matchup of xiye on this Zoe.
Of course, it'll be his 4th champion that we will see from him on Summoner's Rift as we hop onto the Rift.
Onto the Rift for game number 1. FunFlus Phoenix against Team WE. You can definitely tell who the crowd is voting for in the majority heading into this game. And still some FunFlus Phoenix fans out there.
That's a good slogan. I hope that is their slogan, FPX forever. Sounds like a sequel to a sick movie.
As for Team WE, please keep your dreams, as always. But both teams are just going to fan out across the Rift.
And hey, special mention to the WE fans because WE played the last set last night and they're all here again in force tomorrow morning, the day after. Shows commitment.
It's about 5 o'clock. It's 5:20 at the moment in Shanghai.
Depends what you define as mornings.
What time did you get up?
No comment.
Well, we're going to see Condi start at the blue buff to kick this game off. On top of that, red buff will be the start for Pepper in the jungle on Jarvan.
Yeah. Of course, very high fan vote towards the side of Team WE. Don't be fooled by colors. They're both red teams, but WE are blue in this case. 75 to 25. Big percentage of fans still believe that's going to be the case. And you mentioned the jungle, so we can start there for sure. Both teams' junglers starting on the bottom side where their duo lane is respectively for a better leash, for a higher health leash as well. Which means the top lane Scuttlecrab is usually somewhere that needs to be looked towards, as both junglers will go towards that side of the map.
We'll have to keep that in mind because Pepper and Condi could meet at any time in this game. Both of them running very assassin-centric junglers. Bottom side of the map, we still have double relic shield for both bottom lane duos. This is still patch 8.1, so the relic shield is still fairly strong. Mystic getting tagged up by the Winner's Bite. Might actually get stunned here by LWX. Gets good damage as well as the trap. Forces the ignite. Heal being used by Mystic. That's a big trade for FunFlus Phoenix.
And we talk about the presence that a Braum has at level 1 running around on Summoner's Rift. Well, at level 2, when they have the advantage, Caitlyn gets the traps and the Q. And all it takes is one Braum Q to connect, one slow to be down. They get a stun, they follow it up with damage. That's the heal gone from Mystic already. It was traded for an ignite from Crisp, yes. He wanted to get in there before the heal went off, I think, to just pressure the lane, however. It wasn't necessarily just for the kill threat. Very well done from FPX in the 2v2.
With the Relic Shield and the multiple health potions, though, Mystic should be able to stay in this lane just fine. However, it is still Mystic that is running Unsealed Spellbook on the Kog'Maw this time round. LWX going for the fleet footwork instead on his Caitlyn.
LWX going for the standard AD carry route, of course, and Mystic feeling inspired. Of course, the LCK has been running it here and there themselves, but Mystic seems to be the only one from the LPL that feels willing and able to want to go towards that, respectively. On the Kog'Maw, I mean, it's good to have summoners up more and more often. Very important that he has his flash and his heal, or he runs the risk of dying, and that's usually how enemy teams catch you out of position.
For now, the Pepper has made his way into Condi's jungle, will take away a single Gromp camp. Heading into mid lane, Bing does have the early push against Zoe for now. Zoe running the minion dematerializer, as well as her own unsealed spellbook, so we should expect her summoner spells to change from time to time.
Yep, the trend continues in the middle lane just as much as AD carries for Team WE. They love their spellbooks. They love to change them around. xiye, not too sure where he's going to go with his summoner spell changes, however, if it's the Ghost route after having the heal for laning phase just to survive through it, as Zoe's super fragile, or if it's the teleport route and he wants to go the Lichbane build, which is very much a standard thing, to try and split push.
Condi was not spotted out by the Rift Scuttle right there. Has made his way into the bottom lane, undetected so far by FunFlus Phoenix. They might be in a bit of trouble right behind the back lines. Chris and LWX should be able to get away from this just fine. They turn it on to Mystic, getting great damage onto the Kog'Maw.
Mystic actually lost that trade overall from Condi being there for a free gank. He doesn't opt to jumping in, doesn't actually commit to the cause, and maybe that was too much respect given to the side of FPX. Ultimately, WE are the ones that just walk away, not feeling too great for it.
Good night, Jarvan.
Awkward
he's
pose.
awake. It's morning for him as well, Rusty.
Imagine falling asleep mid-dash.
xiye as well as Condi trying to make their way into FPX's jungle. They are pushed back by Taliyah as well as Jarvan and Pepper doing well so far. Slightly ahead in CS against Condi.
Bit of extra
Level up as
effort
well.
from Condi, though, to gank towards the bottom lane tends to make that difference up. With the universal amount of minions gained, however, for each camp killed, you can see a decent difference.
Oh, good night. This time he takes some damage for that. Half health already from one combo, but Pepper turns it around, gets good damage onto xiye. However, Condi is here as well. First blood's going to be picked up by Zoe. xiye even picked up a flash so they can continue to go aggressive against Bing, but that's a gank gone wrong for Pepper.
Yeah, that's certainly tragic for the side of FPX. Now pressure for Ben in the bottom lane, but Mystic's teleporting, so nobody fear. In fact, he's about to...
Ooh.
He wanted to spin him into Mystic, who teleported bottom.
LWX recalling, going back to base, leaving Chris behind, forcing the flash out of Braum.
We'll talk about lane tempo. That's a pretty funny way to achieve it from Team WE, and it wasn't just the AD carry that has teleport. xiye switched to it as well for himself, as that was a bit awkward from xiye.
And that's a few too many turret shots. He's picked up the teleport, and also with his W has an exhaust available if he needs to use it. Top side map. This is the lane that we have not touched on just yet, Rusty. I mean, 957 is pushing in Gimgoon quite easily.
Yeah, all we've seen is Gimgoon under the turret every time we phase up here for just a second, but Gimgoon's turret is relatively healthy. It's barely been touched, so it's just pressure. 957's able to hold the push. I think the most important part of the map right now is the mid-jungle 2v2 duo. Pepper and Bing, we're looking to defend and hold the Jarvan's base to keep his jungle camp standing and keep him up in experience. But the kill actually went over to Team WE, so all of that time spent feels like it's unfortunately gone awry and to the wayside for FPX.
And FPX are the early game team in this matchup. However, Team WE still happy to scale this one out to the late game. Already Kog'Maw has gone back to base, picked up a cull for himself with his first back to go with the recurve bow. So Mystic does want to sit around and farm for quite some time.
Yeah, he does. He's banking on that mid-game super hard. We'll have to see which item he goes towards first as well with the recurve bow there. Sky's the limit for a Kog'Maw. Any item they choose.
It does feel like the laning phase has been fairly equalized in this bottom lane. Condi going to be able to donate blue buff over to xiye as well. That's going to help him out going up against Bing.
Oh, of course. Having the wave clear already, Zoe has innately in her kit. Taliyah's pretty good at matching it, but with the blue buff, I'm pretty sure Zoe just goes completely uncontested. The cooldowns that she has are honestly absurd. She didn't get the summoner spell. That actually, of all minions to miss. Like,
unlucky.
I know Atlas is passionate about cannon minions when they go missing, but that one hurts just as bad, I feel.
Ooh, now I really want to catch an Atlas cast and see what happens if Zoe misses his minion. Ooh.
What if Zoe misses a cannon? That's probably against the law.
Probably. But now there's still a fairly slow game between FunFlus Phoenix and Team WE. Not quite what we expected out of FunFlus Phoenix, but they still have some time to turn on the gas and accelerate the pace of this game.
Makes you wonder how much they feel the need to do exactly that, because, oh, hang on. I'm going to let them take some damage first and go to sleep for a second. They've got a Caitlyn that's got a lot of pressure in the bottom lane. They're no longer holding the push, but I think what they were really waiting for is the opportunity to bring everybody down to the bottom side of the map. I think Pepper being level 6 was the last remaining thing that they really wanted for themselves before such a time were able. So if they are going to look for a lane at all, I'd probably be picking that Kog'Maw lane once he's gone for a cull and has a teleport, not a heal. It just puts a giant target on your head.
Condi's going to try and take this time to pick up the Cloud Dragon for his team. No wards have been placed down by FunFlus Phoenix to spot this one out. Taking quite a bit of damage from this dragon,
dangerous dragon. I'm really not sure who wins this. He's got smite, actually. He should be fine. In a no smite battle, I think Condi was going to lose.
He does have the help of xiye, though. He's going to jump on over, help him pick up the Cloud Dragon for his team. Small victories here and there for Team WE, but really questions are going towards this Caitlyn pickup because it has not been able to bully out Mystic. They got the very early level 2 trade, but that's about it. So we'll have to see what this pickup for LWX is all about.
A lot of Caitlyns, again, they're designed to push, they're designed to siege and to pressure down structures, and you should be able to do exactly that when you've got a Braum Caitlyn against Tahm, Kench, Kog'Maw. I feel like the relic shields make a big part of the difference here with the healing that they have in the lane. So that's why I suggest perhaps everybody just comes down to the bottom lane. I do think that FPX need to break something open. They're losing in CS top lane and mid lane. The numbers aren't large, but xiye also has a kill in the back of that, so the goal difference starts to stack up. The onus definitely still lies with FPX to make that first move.
Definitely, especially since TWE, they're the veterans. They're the ones that know how to play around that late game. The longer this game goes, the
team fighters as well.
Yeah, the longer this game goes, the more comfortable Team W are going to be against FunFlus Phoenix, especially with the team composition they've picked up. But again, very slow game. However, Pepper has made his way into the bottom lane, has not been detected yet by Team WE.
They don't know where Condi is yet. They were trying to find him, and they do now. Bing with the pressure. They may actually go for the kill on Condi instead if they were feeling like it.
So here comes Condi, gets right behind Pepper, is waiting to wings. They'll be able to get the knock-up onto Condi. Chris tag teams with him, able to knock up Condi as well. Pops the zone, he's out, got to save the stopwatch, but Pepper gets the slam. FunFlus Phoenix with the kill. Gimgoon now charging into the back lines. Ben's going to be able to eat up Mystic. Pops his Grey Hell. Big double knockup coming out of Pepper. They take down the bottom lane. 3 kills going to FunFlus Phoenix.
Super cerebral from FunFlus Phoenix as well to know exactly what WE were thinking. Playing coy around that fact and picking up the kills. Nice little block there from Crisp as well to keep Pepper alive. The siege is on. FPX get their advantage.
And they were looking for an early game attack. They have found it. xiye is still trying to wait around and see if he can either wave clear or get some good chip damage onto the team. Misses that one, but does put old mate Taliyah back to sleep. However, FunFlus Phoenix with the first turret of the match as well as 3 kills in that skirmish. That's the early game lead they were trying to look for.
Absolutely, and you were waiting for that one moment. They did exactly what we thought they would, but it was actually WE that go aggressive and go forwards. Pepper firstly hits the knockup. They CC it perfectly and combo it very well. And Gimgoon's the first to come in with the teleport as well. So that teleport being cancelled by Gnar signals the beginning of the end. And this flash double knockup from Pepper, knowing exactly where they're going to spit out Mystic. Super clean from FPX, gets him that turret.
Massive play coming out from Pepper, not only getting Condi fairly blind while he was invisible, but also the double knock-up on the prediction of the Tahm Kench there.
Yeah, and the important part is being there at all in the first place, sitting on a control or talking to the rest of the bottom lane. Even when Bing throws a Q at Condi, Condi was then stuck. He was committed to something, and he chose to fight the bottom lane. They waste teleports from it as well. Gnar doesn't have his available. In fact, he's grouping up with Mystic, and maybe that's just because Mystic has teleport and may end up, who knows.
During that entire skirmish, 957 was able to get some decent damage in the top lane out to turret, but not enough to take it down. FunFlus Phoenix have now swapped out their AD carrying support to the top lane. Caitlyn and Braum getting good damage onto that turret. Pepper is going to start up the Rift Tail during this time. So WE will take a turret in the bottom lane, continue pushing through for the inner turret.
Yeah, but with the turrets already taken on the top side for FPX and their respective outer turrets standing, the Rift Herald already being started, and no Drake to be seen from Team WE, it's already theirs, then this is actually an up trade for FunFlus Phoenix, and that's exactly what they needed to do. Break open the map, use the Caitlyn, get the first turret, they rotate topside. WE are left trading poorly as a result of this.
So what's the next step for FunFlus Phoenix here? Because now they're 1,500 gold ahead, have the Rift Herald in their back pocket, 2 outer turrets taken down, but doesn't feel like it's quite enough to snowball a bigger lead against Team WE just yet.
It's definitely not enough, Fish. They've got a blue buff on the Taliyah in the mid lane, and this is the next one they need to crack open to open up the entire map, just to give them more opportunities. You know, place deeper vision, find picks in the jungle area, and I do think that's where they need to start looking, the mid lane. The Herald excels, of course, at breaking structures, and they should fully acknowledge at this current moment, as Mystic and Ben go top lane, the top lane outer is in jeopardy. If they can push this out, if they can find an opportunity, a moment to go towards the middle lane, then they should break it.
They've got some good vision deep into the backlines of that top lane, allowing them to spot out wherever Mystic and Ben decide to move. Team WE, exactly the same. Got a ward placed down quite deep into this lane. FunFlus Phoenix, LWX, and Chris will be starting to clear out these waves.
Yeah, with a full commitment to wave clear as well. Static Shiv completed from the Caitlyn as the first full item after a BF sword. Wants that extra wave clear, a bit of extra attack speed as well.
Nice and early coming out from them. In the bottom lane, 9-for-7 against Gimgoon. Although it's not exactly a tank-on-tank matchup, and neither of these two would dive relatively quick.
Yeah, 957's rushed the early Spectres. Cal, he's also got a cull for himself. Wants to farm up that little bit longer. You're looking at Team WE saying maybe around 20 minutes. They'll all come completely online. The 2 item spikes there for them, and that's when they'll want to team fight, which gives, you know, about 5 minutes there for FPX to try and push a further advantage. Maybe they get a team fight in that time.
But still, once again, after the early action, the bottom lane has turned into, again, yet another quiet matchup between the two. Dragon's going to come up in the next 10 seconds. Mountain Dragon this time round.
This is the perfect opportunity, Fish, with the Drake that you're mentioning, to actually make a double play at the same time. You can have a Herald in the mid lane if you want with Taliyah available. The Drake may be the #1 priority for them because a fight can be found around it, but I'd be using the Herald mid lane as the Drake is up, or as we are going to look for the Drake.
Let's see if FunFlus Phoenix do. Jarvan is the one with the Rift Herald buff. And it is FPX that do get first control over the Dragon Pit. WE are grouped up, however. As 5 close to this lane. FunFlus Phoenix throw out the Taliyah ultimate just to separate the team, try and burn out this Dragon as fast as they can. However, a little bit too early from Bing. Could allow Team W to jump into this fight. Ben is the first one charging forward, gets some good damage down to Bing. xiye even following through. Bing in some trouble. Condi jumping over the wall, puts him to sleep. Bing somehow still alive. Ben's the one that's going forward, trying to save Condi. xiye looking for the snipe, can't quite find it in the back line. So FunFlus Phoenix get a Dragon. WE not able to get the picks.
No, they weren't. And they got to the fight pretty late, actually, Team WE. Compliments of a good wall from Bing. Yes, it was a little bit early, and he almost loses his life from it, but the rest of FPX are perfectly healthy. They're able to come in and defend this middle lane outer turret. So there's nothing lost from them as the end result, just summoner spells and a Drake gained for them. With the Mountain Drake as well, the ability to get those structures and neutral objectives significantly quicker. Big plus for them.
WE have created a large mini wave on the top side of the map though, so Mystic will continue pushing that one through. Rift Herald has been used in the mid lane. xiye,
they're recalling,
is forced to go back to base. Does have unsealed spellworks, decides to stay around for some time. Condi is here as well. Rift Herald does get a charge through, but it's just Rift Herald on his own, so that's going to be dealt with by Team W quite easily.
Yeah, they'll take the charge. I know that xiye needed to go back to base. He didn't have a lot of health or mana, but Condi was nearby, and Condi was able to make the difference in defense of that structure. So it will stand, though a full charge, full health charge from Herald will hurt and chunk it down a fair bit. It just means that if W ever have a lapse in judgment or a forced positioning from their opponents, it will drop.
And although FunFlus Phoenix have been the more proactive team in this game, the gold is still fairly even. Just about 700 gold is what separates Team WE from getting back into the lead.
Yeah, there are some culls coming online as well. Not far away from it. 1 complete item from Mystic and 10 odd CS for 957. And that's where you take a second, with these culls being completed, to look at the item builds. They are starting to come online, Team WE. You mentioned the gold difference. It doesn't exist. That's very scary for FPX.
Especially with that cull coming up from Gnar shortly, that will put them ahead almost against FunFlus Phoenix. So although they were able to be proactive, just doesn't seem like it's enough. Team WE, they're very comfortable in this position. This is a position they've been in throughout most of 2017.
We saw the first play from FPX to get an advantage control of the map, and they did do it successfully. But that was playing onto WE's aggressiveness and forcing them into making plays so that they can get the counterplay up. But now that FPX have to go forwards and they have to make the plays, it feels like they're running themselves into a slight disadvantage against their opponents. WE have even switched back to heal on both of their unsealed spellbook users because they want to team fight more than they want to split push.
Oh, next elemental dragon that come up is going to be a cloud dragon. Baron's up in a minute. WE with their team composition do have the opportunity to try and sneak a Baron away. Being looking to try and find a pick onto Condi, not able to get it. Walks in with Pepper into the river around Baron Pit, just making sure they secure some vision.
What we do have now, though, Fish, which is a massive positive for FPX, is the second item completed for LWX on his Caitlyn. With the Infinity Edge done, you actually think they may go aggressive and they may look for plays.
Ooh, they get some good damage onto Mystic. Headshot as well. Taliyah creates a wall trying to jump behind Mystic and Ben, but have a little alleyway to work with to get back to safety. Does, however, allow FunFlus Phoenix to take down the mid lane outer turret.
They nope out of the small corridor provided. But you're correct, the turret falls. xiye going very aggressive, getting these sleeps down and following it up with damage. It looks like FPX have the full insight of where xiye is at all times, and they are prepared.
Condi in trouble, gets taken down fairly low. However, Ben will be able to save his life. This does start a team fight between the two teams. Pepper in some trouble though. xiye is looking for the damage, throws out the paddle star, not enough to take him down.
He's gonna get away, but he's very low. You can never tell with Zoe if they're actually getting away. My bad.
xiye was not able to snipe him off, but again, FunFlus Phoenix looking to try and be a bit more proactive, slowly taking back control. But Team WE, they don't look uncomfortable just yet, still look fairly happy to try and play this game out.
They're holding on. 957 with a Frozen Mallet as well to control his side lanes if need be. Not going to do as much damage in team fights or shredding of armor to anybody, especially with the lack of armor on the side of FPX. Whilst it would be good, he's opted towards being a bit tankier first. Once again, they are changing up their itemization, slowing the pace of the game down as best they can to the WE standard that you expect to see from them.
As FunFlus Phoenix, although they are taking these small objectives, just doesn't look like they're getting the gold lead against Team WE.
No, they're dancing to the beat of WE's drum at the moment, not their own.
That still feels very similar to what we saw from Team WE throughout 2017 when they had Condi. Looked a little bit different with Melon in the lineup, but now that Condi's back, going back to their old habits. It's been working out for them, worked out against Vici. Seems to be working against FunFlus Phoenix so far.
That's the thing with habits. They're very good at their habits. Doesn't make it a bad habit, but it can be.
WE now able to take down the top lane outer turret, so they equalize the goal between the two teams, despite being a turret down at the moment.
The pressure seems to be almost entirely around the Baron area. With 25 seconds until a Cloud Drake, I wouldn't expect anyone to put high priorities on that Drake. In fact, someone may just go and sneak it away when they've got time between minion waves. Perhaps LWX and Crisp will be the ones to do that. But WE, they have wards there. FPX are just going.
Looking for a fight. Teleport's coming into mid lane as well. Ben's the one that's in some trouble. The wall is built up by Taliyah. Ben gets locked down by Winter's Bite. Pepper going to be chasing on further forward. No flash available for the Tahm Kench. Means FunFlus Phoenix get a pick onto Team WE.
They get a very nice pick where the teleport has been used by a Gimgoon. He's now grouped up with the roster and they have to decide they're just going to fight.
They're going to try and chase down xiye. He's able to flash away. Believe he picked up a ghost as well with his W, so he's quite speedy and gets out of there. 957 still in the bottom lane, getting good damage on the bottom lane inner turret, but FunFlus Phoenix say, let's try and take a Baron.
They have no choice with Gimgoon already teleporting in. They've made the choice. They've committed, and the teleport's there from 957 as well now.
It is Mini Gnar as well as Team W without their support. Condi jumps in, the son of Baron can't get the steal down. Pepper says, come on and fight me. He pops his stopwatch, but look at him in the back lines. LWX flashing over the wall. He gets a double kill. 957's trying to pick up the bits and pieces that remain for Team WE. Flashes on the B. Triple kill for LWX. He wants a piece of Mystic as well. Pops the 90 caliber man. Final headshot comes through, and that's a quadra kill for the Caitlyn.
With no Tahm Kench to be picked up for a Penta as well. LWX comes up massive in that fight. So much work as the AD carry of FunFlus Phoenix putting out that they secure the Baron after a good smite from Pepper. But just watch LWX because he gets put to sleep here. And just flashes immediately. He knows what's going to happen if he ever falls asleep. WE, Mystic and 957 are still putting in some work on the backside by themselves. And then he thought he had the moment here, 957. They forgot about LWX because he was just completely gone from the fight. Then he shows back. He gets 4 kills.
LWX gets one more show in before bedtime. Picks up 2 kills off the back of that as well. Now FunFlus Phoenix, 3,000 gold in the lead. They have Baron buff to work with as well. They'll pick up the Cloud Dragon. They'll start to reset these lanes and look to push in against Team WE. The heat has been turned on. And Team WE used to look really comfortable. Now they'll be sweating a little bit here, you have to think, Rusty.
Of course, now there is a gold lead. Now there is a Baron buff. And there is entire opportunities available to the FPX team to make sieges happen, to push forwards, to utilize that Caitlyn, who is 5-0-3. They just need a protector and watch her shred structures.
3-item Caitlyn. Puts down all the traps. Wall gets built by Taliyah. They pick up an easy inhibitor turret in the mid lane. Inhibitor now under siege. LWX stepping forward. Has Chris right in front of him, trying to block out any wild skill shots coming through. Good paddle star from xiye. Will poke out Gimgoon slightly. They do put Caitlyn to sleep, but once again, Chris just stands right in front of him. Good snipe coming out from the Kog'Maw to get that added damage from the sleep.
Yeah, xiye actually having a very poor trade in the end for his own health bar, so the inhibitor will go down as the end result. Good little pressure there from FPX, knowing that even when Caitlyn's asleep, they can stand and they can still deliver, thanks to the Braum. A very good pick into Zoe, of course.
5-0-3, as you mentioned, on this Caitlyn. FPX use only a portion of their Baron to make that mid lane push work, so they still have some time to reset and take other objectives. Gimgoon has swapped out for Flash and Ghost, though, as he's in the top side of the map. No Baron buff available for him.
Yeah, Gimgoon's got the fighting summoner spells. He's completely ready to go. And with 3 completed items on the Vladimir, I know we've been talking about the Caitlyn a whole lot, but you can't sleep on Gimgoon. He's about to rock up to a fight and apply some serious damage.
And right now, 957 has to be careful. He just used the hop, has no flash available. There's no way you're getting away from this one. Braum even throwing out the ultimate. Easy kill for LWX in the bottom lane, just overextended slightly.
Yeah, 957 really wanted to clear these waves out and trim them before the FPX team arrived to clear them and start to push. Utilize the rest of the Baron buff. You mentioned that they only used a small amount of it to siege that mid lane inhibitor. They effectively just walked up and took it. Well, as they go towards the bottom lane, you'd say a bit quicker than 957 was expecting them to be. He is made pay for that.
Now FunFlus Phoenix, their Baron buff is going to expire, but they've grouped up as 5 in the bottom lane, looking to siege for this bottom lane inner turret.
Yeah, top lane also set up for them well in advance, starting to build up a big wave and push for them. So as they siege bottom, as they threaten this, and as the Baron has whittled away, there is still a moment for FPX to rotate if things go poorly through that mid lane anyway, but so far so easy.
It certainly is. Mid lane inner turret does get, bottom lane inner turret does get taken down by FunFlus Phoenix. Now, looking to see if they can rotate up to the top side of the map or continue pushing for these inhibitors. They are the ones that dictate the flow of the game now. Yes, Team W wants to go late, but 6,000 gold behind just 26 minutes in is not easy for a team to fight through.
The easiest way to win this game for them is to catch out xiye, not even just to kill him, but to remove a lot of his health bar. Ooh. Otherwise, he will do that to you. So that is the priority number 1 here for FPX. They do still need to threaten and continue to siege and push forwards, try and actually get these sieges to be successful before fights break out. Mystic has got 3 items. You saw the damage that xiye did. That's still possible from Team WE if a fight happens.
LWX not opting to go for any magic resistance here. Wall gets built up by Taliyah once more. Sleepy Trouble Bubble does not connect onto anything but a cannon minion. Paddlestar not getting the damage he wants onto LWX either, who is still chipping away at this turret despite no minions being available.
Having the fleet footwork there means that as a new wave comes in with the rapid fire cannon he has, should get a whole host of his health back, even with the overheal available, of course. But extra added shield. And Mystic and Ben are now mid lane, trying to push out as quick as they possibly can before a wave crashes.
Top lane is pushed back. xiye throws out Sleepy Trouble Bubble, gets the Braum, but he just rotates back into the back lines. Bing now jumping forward, getting chip damage on these turrets. LWX gets good damage on the Condi as well. He's almost dead. Paddlestar not going to connect coming out from xiye, and Team WE retreat back towards their fountain once more.
You have a feeling that FPX can just rinse and repeat this strategy for as long as they need. In one more wave, there was a chance that they were going to break that bottom lane tower, but they choose to recall instead, and the higher priority for them, whilst they could have gone for that play, is still the Baron buff. When you talk about what allows a team to siege incredibly easily, well, Baron's going to be the number 1 priority for doing exactly that after the team composition that you have comprised for yourselves. So they want that the most, and they want it to recall early so that they can place vision, set up side waves, and have control of the rift almost holistically.
LWX does not have enough gold to pick up another item, so just upgrades the relic shield there, making sure he gets a little bit more of the overshield. Now he's going to go back to base once more. Must have just got enough gold to pick up his next purchase. But FunFlus Phoenix again dictating the flow of this game. 6,500 gold in the lead. Oh, sorry, 5,500 gold in the lead.
He actually
Mercurial
sells
Scimitar.
his Targons as well to get that Mercurial Scimitar. I like that. Sacrifices some of the overshield though against Zoe, who is a burst and poke champion. So that will be a slight risk for him. However, if Crisp plays it properly with a locket available, he can time it to block a lot of that damage. And the overheal starts to become pretty significant as he goes up in levels.
Quite a few of the abilities coming out from Team WE can be QSS'd out of that Mercurial Scimitar. And LWX, he definitely is the damage dealer on his team right now.
Yeah, we mentioned that QSS. It's mostly all for xiye. Mostly all to prevent this Zoe from hard carrying a team fight. One sleep onto a Caitlyn, and that is actually a good night for FPX.
FunFlus Phoenix rotating as 5 to clear out wards in this Baron, but we've seen quite a few teams not able to do just that.
But they've completely forgotten about mid lane by doing this. The inhibitor has respawned, and they've slept on that fact. And it gives control to WE to start pushing as they are now. Just advancing that little bit more to place some extra vision down means that the Baron being taken isn't as significant an immediate risk.
FPX is just going to dance around for now. They've got time. Team WE will be happy to wait as well, happy to scale into the late game for as long as they can.
Yeah, they could actually start split pushing if they really wanted to. 957 has the teleport. He's just been stuck into the middle lane. That's the biggest problem that WE are currently facing as map control is concerned. But with all inhibs up, the opportunity to fight is there. And you know that FPX are going to try and fight you. That is a ghost on the Vladimir. He's ready to get into the back lines.
Minions have collapsed in the bottom lane. Gimgoon's going to go back to base. He should be swapping out his ghost for a teleport. Or does he? He sticks around. So they send Taliyah into the bottom lane. Bing will be sent down there. Good damage onto Condi coming out from LWX with a headshot. Ace in the hole connects as well. Ben, you've got to block that, buddy.
Doesn't block it. Condi will get some health back. Has to smite the Raptors and use the second charge if need be on the Baron because he does have the second charge. Really risky stuff now for xiye's poked out. They may actually just lose the entire Baron.
He's been tagged. Look at that. Pepper says, I'm going to jump in. Brings Taliyah to the back lines as well. Condi jumps out. xiye flashes away. Team WE lose control over this Baron pit.
And that should just be the Baron going to FPX. But WE need to fight. They want to fight. And they don't want to let this go to free because it could be the whole game.
The son of Baron waiting to try and jump in for the steal. He jumps in. Can't get it. LWX with the last hit point on Baron. Takes it for FPX. Now they turn on for the team fight. 957 forced to flash away. Mystic gets tagged by the Windows Spike. Saved by Ben over the wall. Flashes away from the knockback coming out from Taliyah. 957 trying to run this one out. Chris still charging forward. Waiting to throw up that Windows Spike, but he gets put to sleep. FunFlus Phoenix, they get a pick on Condi. They get Baron as well. Now they're charging down the mid lane.
957's about to run out of Mega Gnar, so the defense of this structure is now impossible for Team WE. They have to keep running back to base. Pepper's actually already gone to the top lane to enable it with Baron minions also. Another structure falls. They don't choose to go bottom because the health is regenerated. They go to where their minions are prepared.
So they take down mid lane inhibitor once more. They go top lane, get a free turret for themselves, and they're going to reset with still 3 minutes left on this Baron buff.
So much time available for them. Red buff Cloud Drake bottom lane is probably the easiest way to go for them. Still with no teleport on any respective member of their team, so they're doing it as a 5-man unit. However, that gold lead has grown to a point where it's not too bad of an option to just stay as 5 strong.
2 Void Stars picked up for the side of FunFlus Phoenix. 1 on Gimgoon, 1 on being LWX as well, with the last Whisper completed. With only 957 and Ben being the real front lines for the team of Team WE. It's going to be difficult for them to initiate any team fights this far behind FunFlus Phoenix.
And they don't really have the comp to initiate team fights. They have to firstly use the Zoe Sleepy Trouble Bubble, put someone to bed, and then hopefully it's not a Caitlyn who has the QSS, but they need to hit the Caitlyn because she's 7-0. Then they need to get through a Braum somehow, so 957 needs to be able to flash into the backline, presumably to get that ultimate, and he doesn't have flash, so WE with 1 minute and 40 left on this Baron buff. How do they stop this?
LWX now pushing and gets good damage on Condi. Once again, simply breaks down the bottom lane inhibitor turret. Bing going to make sure he separates the rest of the team, allowing this inhibitor to be nice and easy for FunFlus Phoenix to take.
Yeah, LWX will walk up, he'll tap you once and bop you on the head with about 900 damage, and you're left walking away with no way to hold that structure. So they just waltz on in, take away an inhib, and that's the second consecutively. With the blue buff to go over to Bing as well, they should just rotate back up to the top side after recalls.
They go back to base, pick up the last bits and pieces of items and a couple of elixirs. Now rotating top side of the map. Big mini wave was set up by Team WE, however, it's still 1 minute on this Baron buff for FunFlus Phoenix.
Plenty of time to at least push this wave up to the base.
And is that where WE have to try to put up their last stand here? Because that's the last inhibitor.
Yeah. They ideally want the Baron to be gone before they put up the last stand. That was a 2200 crit. Can you not, LWX? I wonder at this point how they're going to actually have that last stand. Like, what is it that actually allows them to be able to do that? And besides a hero performance from Mystic, he does need to do something special. This siege will continue. This Caitlyn will keep getting structures down and killed.
Oh, there's the traps being put down by LWX, nice and early, separating the left side of the map. Not stepping up just yet. Bing and Gimgoon are waiting in the wings.
This is the last Baron wave, so Bing may use the ultimate to try and cut them off.
Good damage from LWX onto this turret. There is the ultimate to cut them off. WE are now trapped. LWX gets the turret. They find Condi. He gets taken down from his Guardian Angel. Mystic will be saved, but LWX finds xiye with another big headshot. 957 knocks him into a wall, stuns him after the QSS, but there's nowhere for the big Gnar to run. He falls to LWX sniper shots.
bends the next target in his sights. Double kill picked up by Caitlyn. Jumps on the Mystic for the triple kill. Condi forced to run away. Xiye's trying to get the heck out of there. Ace in the hole does get cancelled as he gets put to bed, but it's actually good night for Team WE because FunFlus Phoenix are marching on towards the Nexus. Gimgoon's doing his own thing in the backlines. The rest of the team making sure they take down these turrets. Pepper saves the day, but FunFlus Phoenix with a nice start to this best of 3 series. They're going to be knocking down the Nexus.
No one can stop LWX to get this victory, Fish.
Nobody can. LWX wants even more kills there. Picks up the final one at the end. Xiye tries his best, but it's just not enough. What a big start and what a big play against Team WE.
Yeah, massive game 1 from FunFlus Phoenix. Yes, Team WE may not be at their full strength, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about how well FPX are able to win these games, get those advantages, and we were waiting for it. We said, at what point will they go towards a lane? At what point will they get a gold lead at all? It was a Caitlyn going even with a Kog'Maw. Well, they picked their battles well, they got their leads well, and with that lead, they continued the entire game. They actually closed the game out exceptionally well, something that they've been shaky at. They team fought very well against Team WE, something that they're strong at and FPX are not, but they kept up at all of it.
Couple of shaky moments for FunFlus Phoenix, but it seems like every time they got an opportunity to take a lead against Team WE, they did. And they made sure they capitalized on it time and time again. Even when it looked like Team WE were clawing back the gold, trying to get back into the game, FunFlus Phoenix did not look nervous, they did not look shaky and just stuck to their game plan.
And I'm no expert on the MVP system here, Fish, but I have a feeling that we know who it's going to. You can see the damage charts as well. 14-4 was the kill score, and most of them were on a single member.
Yeah, 29.5 thousand damage for LWX on his Caitlyn. Had a really good game in the champion, but we have to look at the rest of the map as well. Easy holds in the solo lanes from not only Gimgoon, but also Bing in the mid lane. Yeah. But Pepper as well, he was playing out of his mind on the Jarvan.
Yeah, Pepper's probably the second person I would look at above all else for who would be an MVP-worthy player in that game. The engages were great from him, his positioning was correct, and more so even just the decisions on when to be engaging were what was so good and so outstanding from the Jarvan here for FPX.
Whereas Team WE, you know, they tried to stick to their old game plans, Rusty. It didn't really work out for them. You know, they tried to play it slow and steady, but this time around they were not able to win the race against FunFlus Phoenix.
No, because it was a super slow race from them, and it didn't really feel like they had any chance to come back into it.
Well, we'll have to see if Team WE can put up any form of a fight in game number 2 or 3 if it gets there. For now, though, let's send it over to our analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Fish. And man, what a game 1 victory from FPX. Like, this feels like the super team we were promised. It wasn't Rogue Warriors, it was actually FPX. Can we start calling them a good team now, Frosk?
And that's the thing I really like that you start there, is the fact that everyone was looking at Rogue Warriors and saying, this is the Chinese super team. You know, you've got big household names like Doinby, like SMLZ, they combined into this team, and everyone overlooked the diamonds in the rough where you had trimmed away the fat from all of the other rosters that have fallen away, have these gyms like Gimgoon, LWX, and Pepper just going off in games.
Yeah, and you were telling me during when we were watching the game that they have to play perfect against WE, because against a top team, if you give them one team fight, they're probably going to run away with it, and the amount of times we've seen that as well, but they didn't. They never let up. They constantly got advantages and just kept them.
Yeah, and that was just my one hesitation. I do want to start from the very beginning, though, because I'm sure our man of the match is about to come up, and talk about the Caitlyn, because this game was all about Caitlyn versus Kog'Maw, and they're super similar. Now, the thing is Caitlyn, of course, is always going to have a dominant lane phase, although it's a bit more fragile, just to steal the word from Clement, as previously before, but it's really hard to punish that in an overheal, relic shield, Tahm, Kench type of meta. And then when you don't punish that in the lane phase and you get into the mid game, that's where she falls out, and that's where Kog'Maw's going to shine. So I feel like they're kind of similar champions in that they're both going to hyperscale into late game, have ridiculous range, ridiculous damage, but Kog'Maw's going to spike on 2 items, whereas Caitlyn's, of course, going to spike on 3 items. Now, the cool thing is we show our first replay, is that everything got snowballed really early. Both teams that knew that this was going to be the Caitlyn versus Kog'Maw show, and they got right on that.
Yeah, we'll take a look at our man of the match first. And who could have guessed it was LWX after that performance? The man was actually just padding his stats at the end of the game as well. And he just played extremely well, to be honest. LWX was always a great player, but it's just fantastic to see him shine on this team.
And that's the thing, he's hyper aggressive, he has such a flexible and versatile champion pool. We've seen him play the hyper carries, we've seen him play the lane dominant carries, and it's just super diverse. But this is what I was talking about. So again, we all know it's going to be about the Caitlyn. We have to get her snowballing, because if it comes to the 2-item spike and Kog'Maw has his and she's sitting in her trough, Team WE will run away with the mid game. Pepper comes up huge here. This double flag and drag knockup is sick. But the important thing is they focus that lane, they break the tower early, and then they quickly start rotating and play WE's fast push strategy against them.
Yeah, and Pepper played so well on top of that as well. Like, yes, he died in the mid lane, but it's Zoe at the end of the day. She'll just kind of do that to you, and then just came back and instantly came around, got the gank in the bottom side. And the fact that he had all this talk, and so often we see this against the top teams, and he just fall flat in the faces. I'll never forget Cat calling out EDG and then instantly just getting obliterated. But it was really good to see that happen, and that led into the later fight when we saw at Baron, as we bring up our second replay, is that this was like the one chance that WE had to come back into the game.
And this is what I said earlier. You know, we knew that FPX were going to run away with the early game. No surprise there. Team WE don't have an early game, and FPX are huge brawlers. But there's that tiny voice in the back of your head that says, if you mess up 1 5v5 right in front of a Baron, WE will run away with this game. And when you have a champion like Zoe, it's fish in a barrel. Unfortunately, though, LWX went massive. Now, because the Caitlyn had gotten snowballed early, there is no mid-game power trough. She's running through this fight with triple items, Static Shiv, Rapid Fire Cannon, and Infinity Edge, and she just obliterates them for the quadra kill. And this is the nail in the coffin for Team WE. And with someone like Zoe, with someone like Gnar, the fact that they couldn't hold a defense there speaks volumes.
Yeah, it speaks a lot about FPX. I just combined so many names there, holy moly. But no, it's just really good to see from them, because if they can play like this against a team like WE, they can play like this against pretty much any team. And it's not just WE. This isn't just like it's a Snake from last bit randomly getting a 2-0. No, they played against EDG as well. And yes, they ended up losing the set, but we've seen moments of brilliance from them from multiple sets in a row now.
And we continue to see the bar being elevated, though. BSYY is the coach, formerly the coach of Dan Gaming, now TOP, and you just see kind of his fingerprint left on this team. FPX are not just mechanically very gifted, they're very smart. Again, they are the real deal.
Yeah, they are getting good, and they're getting good very, very quickly. We're going to take a short break, though, before we head into our second game between FPX and Team WE.